All right, this is the Final Percent podcast with Greg Kimball. I have to say I'm pretty excited about this. This is the first run through that we are doing with a switcher, so we can go to different cameras. Let's just try that really quick. Also, I want to talk about how my producer is technically my nephew, Sircle Kimball. So he is running the switcher. He's running the streaming program. He's the capture card guy. I mean, he is that dude. So shout out Sircle Kimball for being able to endure his eccentric uncle. I truly appreciate you. But today I want to talk about the Sircle of S's. And I actually have this concept, and it's a S-I-R-C-L-E. And the reason for that is there's 5 S's that are in life that I think are really important. And a lot of people start out in the same one. Now, of course, there are exceptions to every rule. So what does that mean? The exception would be, are you an emaciated kid in Africa? Are you in a war zone, living in an extremely oppressed environment? But from an American standpoint, we actually start out all in the same part of life, and that is the safe part of life. That's your first S. That is the safe part of life. It's really simple. Don't take risks. Don't spend more than you make. Don't step on a crack. Don't walk under ladders. You are the safest, most superstitious person. But the thing is if you don't want any risk in your life and you want to only live in a land of safe, it is actually okay. A lot of people can stay there, but the next S always tends to rear its ugly head, and the next S is stretch. So you're going to try to stretch your time. You're going to try to stretch your knowledge. You're going to try to stretch your budget, stretch your money, stretch what you can do. Maybe stretch your wife's patience, stretch your friend's patience, your parents' patience. And what you're doing is you're just trying to move in your life just a little bit further than you're ready. A good saying here is you always rise to your level of incompetence. And what that means is you are in your mind, and your level is you are going to raise to the point of where you're basically incompetent. So let's talk about that for a second. You are going to be able to go as far. It's that age-old saying, you can only lead people as far as you've gone. Now, there are, again, exceptions to that rule, but you are going to stretch yourself until you are about ready to break. Now, the next thing that if you stretch yourself and you stretch yourself, now, unfortunately, a lot of people only get to this next part of life. They stretch their budget, stretch their credit, stretch their everything, and they get to the next part, and the next part is scary. You stretch so hard, you stretch your knowledge, your time, your budget, all this stuff, and life rewards you with the scary part. So you get unbelievably frightened. You're super scared. You don't know what to do. You don't know what you're going to do. And therefore, you try as much as you can to get back to that safe part of life. And so you're remaining as safe as possible kind of all the time, but you're constantly stretching yourself, constantly getting scared, and then you're retreating. But here is the magic S, the best S that you can do, that you need to get to as fast as possible. If you get to, here's your next S, sacrifice. If you understand that you have to sacrifice time, sometimes you have to sacrifice whether or not you want that brand new car. You have to sacrifice whether or not you should you be going to school? Should you be delivering on your promises? Should you be studying, or should you be going to that college game? Should you be going to the party? Should you be doing this, that? You have to sacrifice something to get something that you want. So I want you to learn how to go from safe, right when you want to stretch yourself, bypass scary, and just move as fast as you can into start sacrificing. I want you to sacrifice as fast as you can, because everything is basically silos, right? So you have your time, you have your energy, you have the people in your life, you have your money, and if you want better people, well, then some of your money has to go down. If you want better experiences, you want to travel, some of your money has to go down. If you're not willing to pay for the A-listers, if you're not willing to pay for the people that can make a difference in your life, the conferences that can make a difference in your life, you're not willing to sacrifice part of your stores, then guess what? You're not going to get the experience. You're not going to become those people. And so the thing is if you sacrifice enough, then you get to the special part of life. Now, the special part of life is a little bit like the safe part of life, because check this out. If you have enough money and you're good to go and you understand where you're going, you understand what's possible, you understand everything that's in your life, you tend to get safe. And then I don't care if you've made $100 million. If you have $100 million in the bank, pretty soon you're going to be like, man, what would $1 billion look like? And then even at $100 million, you're going to start stretching yourself. You're going to start stretching yourself into more things. You're going to start doing this, that, and the other. And then if you haven't become the person and you didn't sacrifice fast enough, you're going to get to the scary part of life, even if you have $100 million in the bank. That's the thing that we have to start understanding. The key to life, realistically, is sacrifice. Now, I don't want to get all religious on people, but sacrifice in any religion, not just Christianity, sacrifice is important. Have you ever heard of a dude named Jesus? He did some sacrifice, right? So the thing is I think it's built into life to where sacrifice brings and breeds reward. And so if you can move to sacrifice, because check this out. If you have safe, hey, I'm in this safe/special, then you go, hey, I'm going to stretch this, I'm going to stretch that, I'm going to stretch this, but you move over to sacrifice as fast as humanly possible. I'm going to sacrifice the looking cool in front of people and having a car that really impresses people so that I can attack my mortgage and become debt-free faster. Or I'm going to sacrifice being able to be debt-free faster because I actually want to drive around in a really nice car. It's all sacrifice. It's all what are you willing to put in the sacrifice pot to become and get what you want to become? And so it's this circle, and it just goes around and around and around. The only thing that happens is the circle keeps getting bigger. But you got to be smarter. Skip the scary part of life and sacrifice as fast as possible. It's so easy. It's really that easy. So, guys, just a super, super quick recap. You start out in the safe part of life. You're going to stretch yourself. And then usually everyone's been into a very scary part of life. They've been in that scary part of life. And when you're in this scary part of life, you have two choices. You can either retreat or advance, retreat or attack. And it's hard to move forward because, again, scary usually looks like foreclosure. Scary usually looks like repossession. Scary usually looks like I'm not going to get that loan. Because they're making you sacrifice what you shouldn't have gotten. You should not have achieved that right then because you weren't ready. You did not become who you needed to be able to do those things and live at that level and have those things. So you have to understand, what is this word sacrifice? Sacrifice your time, your energy, your money. But the other thing is you can't make money the priority, because think about it. If you have to sacrifice all your time to make a bunch of money, you're going to sacrifice time with your kids. You're going to sacrifice time with your wife. You're going to sacrifice your family, and you're going to look up and you're going to be absolutely baffled. How in the world did they leave me? How in the world? Like, I've been providing. No, you haven't. You've been absent. So yes, it is a little bit of a balance, and that's why communication is so important. And you have to put in the time of the sacrifice. Understanding what you're sacrificing for what you're getting is really, really important. But again, safe, stretch, scary, sacrifice, special. But if you stay special for so long, it becomes safe and the cycle starts all over. So right when you start feeling that, hey, I'm stretching, that's your trigger. I got to sacrifice as fast as possible because I'm not willing to live in the scary part. I want to live in the magic of life, the special part of life. We're meant to be special. We're meant to do special things. But most people are not willing to sacrifice anything so that they could become special. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in to this produced episode by Salo Kimball, trademark Kimball Corporation, Ricky Bobby. Not sure what to do with my hands. But anyway, thank you guys so much. This is going to be on YouTube, going to be on all that good stuff. This has been the Final Percent Podcast with Greg and Salo Kimball. It's the